Retirement is often treated like a date, a milestone, a finish line, a countdown. But retirement is not just a date. It is a transition. And for nurses, it is one of the most significant identity shifts of a lifetime. After years, sometimes decades, of structured shifts, constant responsibility, and being needed, stepping away requires more than financial readiness. It requires clarity. Before you retire, there are 6 important questions worth asking yourself. Not to create fear, but to prevent confusion later. Care before crisis. Let's begin. For years, your days likely followed a rhythm. Even unpredictable shifts had structure. Wake-up times, charting, rounds, medication schedules, colleague interaction. Routine protects cognitive function. It stabilizes mood. It regulates sleep. It reinforces purpose. Retirement without structure can feel disorienting. Not because you are incapable, but because your nervous system has adapted to rhythm. Before you retire, outline what an average weekday will look like. Not vacation days. Ordinary days. Structure protects independence. Nursing is deeply relational. Even brief interactions, handoffs, patient updates, hallway conversations, create connection. Retirement can quietly reduce daily human contact. Isolation rarely announces itself. It accumulates. Before retiring, consider, who will I speak to regularly? What community am I part of? Will I volunteer, mentor, attend groups, participate in faith communities? Connection is protective, emotionally and cognitively. Plan for it intentionally. For many nurses, the role was more than employment. It was contribution. It was usefulness. It was identity. Purpose does not disappear in retirement. But it must shift. Before retiring, ask, how will I contribute in this next stage? Contribution may look like teaching, mentoring younger nurses, community education, family leadership, creative work, advocacy. When retirees design contribution instead of drifting into it, outcomes are stronger. Purpose protects vitality. Burnout can push people toward retirement. But exhaustion is not the same as readiness. Ask yourself honestly, if I never worked another shift, how would that feel? Relief? Loss? Silence? Uncertainty? There is no wrong answer. But clarity matters. Some nurses retire for physical reasons. Some for family reasons. Some for financial timing. Emotional readiness deserves equal attention. Transitions feel smoother when they are intentional rather than reactive. This question can feel uncomfortable. For years, nurse may have been your primary introduction. It carries meaning, respect, responsibility. When that title changes, identity can feel undefined. Before retirement, explore, what roles matter to me now? Friend, mentor, writer, community member, advocate, grandparent, volunteer. Identity expansion reduces identity shock. You are more than your profession. But recognizing that takes reflection. The first 90 days after retirement are often the most vulnerable. There is a sudden drop in urgency. A sudden quiet. A sudden openness in time. Without a plan, that openness can feel overwhelming. Before retiring, outline, what will I focus on in the first month? What habits will I protect? What goals will I pursue? How will I monitor my emotional well-being? The first 90 days set the tone for long-term adjustment. Plan them with care. Retirement should not feel like disappearance. It should feel like redesign. For nurses, especially, this transition carries emotional weight. You have been needed. You have been relied upon. You have carried responsibility. Stepping away deserves preparation, not assumption. Financial planning matters. But emotional and structural planning matter just as much. Clarity prevents quiet decline. Intentional structure protects independence. Connection protects cognitive health. Contribution protects vitality. Before you retire, ask these questions. Write your answers down. Refine them. Revisit them. Because retirement is not the end of purpose. It is the beginning of a new one. On Care Before Crisis, we focus on prevention. Not only medical emergencies, but life transitions that can quietly become crises when unexamined. If you are approaching retirement after years of caring for others, begin caring for this transition with the same thoughtfulness you brought to your patients. Clarity now prevents confusion later. That is care before crisis. Subscribe for calm, practical nursing insight on caregiver resilience, healthy aging, and preparing for life transitions intentionally. This content is for educational purposes only and is not a substitute for medical, financial, or psychological advice. Always consult a qualified professional regarding your specific situation.